Well, we have the best bit today. This is the best bit of the whole of the gospel, in my opinion, and probably a lot of others as well, I gotta be honest. Today's the penultimate one. You've only got Jess on Monday, and then we finished Mark's gospel. So thanks for sticking with us. It's been a good journey, and thanks for sticking with us. So we will take a week's break because this is half term now coming up, and then we'll be back in November, and then we'll do an Advent one just before Christmas as well. So we're going to get straight into it because, like I said, this is the climax. It is what the whole gospel's been building up to, what Jesus has been foreshadowing. He's been telling the disciples that this is what's going to happen, and they didn't really believe him. It was a case of, okay, yeah. But this is it now. This is what Jesus had said was going to happen, and now here it is happening. And this is what Christians celebrate at Easter. A lot of people think that Christians celebrate the crucifixion and the fact that Jesus died at Easter, but it's not. This is it. So in my Bible, it's titled Jesus Has Risen, and it's Mark chapter 16, verses 1 to 8. When the Sabbath was over, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome brought spices so that they might go to anoint Jesus' body. Very early on the first day of the week, just after sunrise, they were on their way to the tomb. And they asked each other, "Who will roll the stone away from the entrance of the tomb?" But when they looked up, they saw that the stone, which was very large, had been rolled away. As they entered the tomb, they saw a young man dressed in a white robe sitting on the right side, and they were alarmed. "Don't be alarmed," he said. "You are looking for Jesus the Nazarene, who was crucified. He is risen. He is not here. See the place where they laid him. But go, tell his disciples and Peter, he is going ahead of you into Galilee. There you will see him, just as he told you." Trembling and bewildered, the women went out and fled from the tomb. They said nothing to anyone because they were afraid. Morning, Wayne. Yes, it is a great passage to be reading. It is. So, Jesus died just before the Sabbath. Remember, they were in a big rush to get the three of them off the cross before Sabbath. The Jews have very strict rules around the Sabbath. And people dying on the Sabbath is not really done if they can help it. And they were in such a rush that they just remember Joseph claimed the body, and he took the body of Jesus and put them in his family tomb. Now, because of the rush, the body wasn't anointed or anything. It was just wrapped in linen and put in the tomb. So the women now are on their way. So they'd spent the Sabbath probably crying, I'd expect, because they were there at the crucifixion. They saw Jesus die, and as far as they were concerned, that was it. It was all over. All the good stuff that Jesus had done up to this point was now over because Jesus was dead. So they got up first thing on the Sunday morning, and they went to anoint the body. They got the spices and everything that they needed, and they were like, "Oh, there was this big stone in front of it. How are we going to move it?" But when they got there, the stone had already. Excuse me, just move my foot. The stone had already been moved, and when they went into the tomb, there was this. It says here, so a man, dressed in white, and he says, if you're looking for Jesus, he's not here. He's alive. This is a tomb where you put dead people, so he's obviously not here. Go and tell the disciples and Peter. Now that's the best bit for me. He says, go and tell the disciples and Peter. Now it's not singling Peter out because he wasn't part of the disciples or whatever, but I think it's because Peter had denied Jesus 3 times just while he was being just after he was arrested, And I think that was just a way to show that Peter was part of the disciples, that he was forgiven. But Jesus had said all along that this is what was going to happen. He was going to pull down the temple and rebuild it in 3 days. And this is what he meant. This is what he meant. He was going to die, and then 3 days later, he was going to come back alive. Now, it finishes and says that they said nothing to anyone because they were afraid. Now, all the way through Mark's gospel, Jesus has been telling people, don't tell anyone what's just happened. Don't tell anyone that I've just healed you, or this miracle that I've just done. And what was the first thing they did? They went out and told everyone. So to finish this chapter, this gospel, with the women going out, having been told to tell people that they didn't. But can you imagine it? That he was dead. They saw him die. They saw him on the cross. They saw him die. And now they're being told that he's risen. He's alive. They have no proof at this point. They have no proof. They haven't seen Jesus. They haven't seen his body. They have no idea. But this is it for Christians. This is what we celebrate at Easter. It's not the death of Jesus, it's the resurrection, because we serve a living God. Jesus is alive, and the Bible says that. And as a Christian, I believe that. I believe that there is plenty of historical records to show that this man called Jesus was alive and that he died. But this is what separates, historical fact of Christianity. Well, no, that sounds wrong. But this is the bit that you have to believe. This is what you believe. That you believe that Jesus is the Son of God and that he rose again and he is living in heaven with God, and hopefully I'll see him there one day, And we're coming to the end of Mark's Gospel now. We've just got Jess finishes it on Monday, and it's been great going through the life of Jesus, and I hope you feel the same. Please get in touch with us and let us know what you think, because we'd love that. We'd love to know what you thought of it. But I just want to leave that with you today, that Jesus didn't stay dead, that he is alive.